Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tuesday Night Music Show, where we sometimes actually talk about music. Sometimes we do. We have Matt from Georgia, Matt, Howie Darkstar,
Hello.
Eric from New Hampshire,
Hello.
Pastor Jay, and Mr. John Cully with Boston John's Record Roundup. What did you bring for us this week, John?
I brought one that I'm surprised we haven't brought this gentleman up, because he was really big on filling the dance floor with some interesting music from about 82 to 85. I pulled up the Chrysalis British import of Vital Idol. This is the remix disc. So it's got everything that was radio traction from him from 82 to 85. White Wedding, Moni Moni, Hot in the City, Flesh for Fantasy, all remixes. So they're the extended versions. It's only an 8-track EP, but I remember going to a record convention, and it was listed as an import, and I later found that Chrysalis Records is based in England. Anyway, so, but to get one that was actually produced there, that was kind of cool.
That is cool.
It was everything I needed. But I had to buy the 45 of Eyes Without a Face and Sweet 16 because they weren't considered remixable dance tracks. But he's still touring. He's still out on the road.
Yeah, he was just in LA a couple of weeks ago.
He's got to be getting up there, right? He's probably in his 60s.
Oh, yeah.
Higher, more?
Yeah.
I didn't have a chance to look. Probably higher.
Higher. Yeah.
But he kind of came out of nowhere, kind of rode the coattails of punk, but had a lot of pop hits and tons of radio play out here. So I thought this was a good one to have, checking Billy Idol's greatest hits. I'm sure he has by now, but you definitely want White Wedding, Dancing with Myself, Hot in the City. Those are the big tracks from him.
Yeah, really good pick. Really good pick.
And the Moni Moni remix is really awesome.
Hey, everybody, get.
The secret verse. Yeah. It's like, get on the mic, don't
Michelle
you
saw him
dare.
last year at a local casino where she works, and she said that he acted like he was 25. Now he's got to be in his 70s.
He is.
Yeah.
He's older than I am, so.
That adrenaline, man.
So he's in his 90s, which is, good, good for him. Yeah.
Thank you, Jay.
Hey, I didn't say by how many years he's older than you.
Let's get the official word before we move along. He is...
My guess, 73.
Oh, no, not even.
No.
67.
Yeah.
Ooh,
No kidding.
Mother's Day.
Wow.
Yeah.
She'll love that I said that.
It's born in 55. Okay.
Still older than Howie.
Here we go.
Tried to backpedal that one.
No, older than you anyway.
The only things that are Billy Idol, Howie, and Dirt.
Jerk. Oh, that's good.
I was just a baby at Moses' last party that Howie DJ'd. I'm just saying.
Would you like to go next, Jay?
Sure. I'm going to do a album, but I'm also going to do a special mention. And I'm not doing the special mention album because I think John did it as a box set. But I was inspired by Lori. I initially was going to do Queen, Sheer Heart Attack, because she got CPR recertified. But then it dawned on me, I think John got a box set that had Night at the Opera.
Yeah.
They did.
6 Queen
Sheer Heart
records.
Attack. Yeah.
Very cool
So-
box set that he got for 50 cents or something.
Yeah.
something
silly.
insane. I'm going to skip that one, but I'm going to do one that I forgot about that I used to have on vinyl. It was my first purchase by this band, but I also bought it on picture disc when that was a thing.
Yeah.
Wow.
I had this one, I had Heart, Dog, and Butterfly, and I had Boston, Don't Look Back on picture disc, which I thought at the time was just like the thing to get. But this album, I think its greatest song on it is not the biggest hit.
Are you talking about Don't Look Back?
No. Don't the album. I had a picture disc of it.
Okay.
But the album I'm doing tonight, I bought it on regular and then I bought the picture disc, is an album called Parallel Lines by Blondie.
Yeah.
And it's really funny because everyone ran to Heart of Glass.
Yeah.
And that's how me and a lot of other people found the band. But when you get the album, it is so much more punk
Yeah.
Yeah.
than it is a disco dance album.
That's
Like
the One Way or Another album. Yeah.
One Way or Another, Hanging on the Telephone,
Yeah.
Just Go Away, Fade Away and Radiate. I mean, there's like everything on it's really good, but Hanging on the Telephone and One Way or the Other were the two that hit me. And I almost wish, there's a song off the next album by Blondie that I think should have been on Parallel Lines. It's the
Rapture?
one. No, no, it's the one about like the hardest part or something. I'll get the name of it before the show ends. It was the one talking about like robbing an armored car or something.
There was a documentary on Parallel Lines that I watched recently.
Do they really?
Yes.
What was it on?
I can't remember, but I what the hell did I just happened to see it. I think it was on like what is now Max. And I was looking through the Turner Classic Movies, like all the movies things. And there was a documentary on Parallel Lines where they walked you through the entire album, how it was recorded and how the songs were written. And it talked about One Way or Another. It was about someone who was stalking Debbie Harry. So it was kind of a creepy thing, but it was a real life thing.
Yeah. That
and how she was
for real.
Always involved with the guitar player, but they kind of kept it on the down low.
Oh, Chris Stein.
Yeah. Yeah. How they're still together, but they were always a thing. And yeah, it's very interesting that it goes through every single song and how it was recorded, and the engineer talking about what they did to contribute to it, and what the producers talking about what they did to contribute to it, and how they talked about doing something different. And it's interesting.
Well, Heart of Glass started off as a reggae song.
Yes.
Yes, it did.
And I think it was Mike Chapman, the producer. I've seen quotes of him on like Behind the Music kind of thing where he's like, let's try this. And they were kind of like, nah, it's not really like us.
Yeah,
that's not who we are.
But
and then it became a blow up hit, and they were like, yeah. And I was right. The song I'm talking about is called The Hardest Part. It's on Eat to the Beat, which was the next album.
Yes.
And if you listen to that, it's a really good rock punk song.
Yes.
It would have been awesome on Parallel Lines. You know, because Parallel Lines, I think, was where they started going. After that, they started going a little backwards. Like Eat to the Beat is a lot mellower.
I'm an American guy. That's
that I could see you being that one. That's much more Brian S. Red than the other ones.
Well, it was progressive, and that's what I love about Blondie. They were progressive the same way the punks were progressive, where they started out as punk, then they got good and did something, and then they saw something and said, hey, here's something new. Let's try this. And they did it. I don't respect. I think
they're almost like the Clash, like that. The way the Clash went from this like very simplistic punk to very
big
political. Right. Yeah. And the Joe Strummer Project stuff went very rockabilly.
Yeah.
And I mean,
really like that stuff.
You know, I mean, even some of the other guys, there's a great group called Havana 3 a.m., which is a super off the radar group that the bass player started. And they had a big hit called like On the Rock. A really good band. But again, it was not the punk of the Clash. It was more, hey, let's dabble in this, and this, and bring in reggae and bring in dance hall. And so I respect any band that's willing to change with the times.
Yeah, let's try something new, you know?
Yeah.
And they were, I mean, Debbie Harry and Blondie, it sounds stupid, but they were very instrumental in hip hop. You know,
well, because they brought it to the mainstream, I think, in that respect.
Not only that, but they were there. They were downtown. I mean, Howie was probably hanging out down there at the time when all this stuff was happening. That's my understanding is it kind of started in South Bronx, but then it kind of split. And you had guys like African Babada, and those folks went down to Alphabet City and the Village and stuff, and they started doing something a little different. That became electro. But Blondie was in that scene, and all the punks were in that scene, and they embraced it. And your Kid Creole stuff and all that, it was very influential in what became hip hop. It's
well, I mean, she was bringing stuff out in 1980, which is, I mean, that's Auto America's excuse me, 1980. So they're bringing Rapture and stuff out.
Yeah, she shouts out Fab Five Freddy and Grandmaster Flash and Rapture.
Yep. Yeah, well, Fab Five Freddy's in the video too.
Yeah, he is, but she shouts out him and Grandmaster Flash in the song. Flash, for some reason, didn't make it to the shoot that day, but he was supposed to be in it. The song Rapture, I'll quote Jay, famously appears and Grandmaster Flash's Adventures of the Wheels of Steel. It's in that song. And that's like one of the most famous turntablism routines ever. If you don't know it, listen to it.
Yeah.
It's really good. It focuses on Chic's Good Times and Rapture. But then it does like Eighth Wonder, Sugar Hill Gang. It's doing all kinds of neat stuff, but it's back and forth. The Queen's Another One by Sedust is in there because it's a funky beat.
Right.
So all that stuff was...
And I mean, you've got to admit, it is by far, in my opinion, it's the very first song I ever heard used as a mashup. Ever was Rapture with Riders on the Storm by the Doors.
Rapture Riders?
Yeah. That was the very first mashup I ever heard. That was actually done right, put out. It wasn't like, oh, I've heard this before. It was like, wait a second, they're putting two songs over each other? This is amazing. And I mean, that was 20 some odd years ago. You haven't heard it?
No, I know what you're talking about, but that was not the first mashup I heard. It goes way back.
It was the first one that I heard that made it out to my scene. I was, again, my scene was much more mainstream by that time.
Well, I mean, the mashup stuff, I mean, people were doing that sort of stuff way back. As far as contemporary mashups go, the first one that came onto my radar was several years before Rapture Riders, I think, or a few years anyway. And that was Sweet Home Country Grammar, where they took Country Grammar by Nelly and Sweet Home Alabama and mashed them. And I still play that one song because it's really good. If you don't know it, I'll get you a copy.
Yeah, I don't know. It's good. I don't think I've ever heard that.
It's really good.
Wow.
I'll play it for you after the show.
I remember somebody turning me on to Girl Talk and being like, whoa, what is this? Like they gave me a Girl Talk album and I was like, I'm so confused right now. I'm hearing like 1,000 songs going off.
Do you know who turned me on to Girl Talk?
Brian Dowdle.
Peter Mary.
Peter Mary?
Turned me on to Girl
Your
Talk.
arch enemy, Peter Mary?
He's not my enemy. He turned me on to Girl Talk, yeah.
Wow. I'm even more impressed he knew who Girl Talk was.
Yeah, this was a long time ago, too.
I mean, because he's DJ Talk, so I figured, well, it would make sense.
No, he turned me on to that, so I got to give Peter Mary props for that. Yeah.
Jeez.
Very cool.
That's awesome.
All right, who's next?
I'll go so I can get my shaming for showing my phone out of the way. Mr. Bruno Mars with 24 Karat Magic. Excellent album here. Some of the top hits on it, 24 Karat Magic itself, the title track, That's What I Like, Finesse, and Versace on the Floor. So sort of a banger after banger after banger, and arguably, a modern day breakthrough superstar, which we've established is harder to do.
Excuse me. Stealing from all the fuck artists of the 70s and the 80s. Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Allergies. We got smoke in the air.
Yeah, Canada.
He's a funky beat thief, that's for sure.
Well, you know what, though, on the other side of the coin is he's also bringing light to, especially with Silk Sonic, he's bringing light to stuff that I think younger people should hear. They should go check out old Parliament Funkadelic.
It's not fair that you even say that, Jay, because it's always been done.
Oh, no, it has, but he's got a level of popularity that surpasses the majority of artists that have been... Like, he's smart enough to not waste 10 years in the studio trying to write everything from ground zero and say, hey, I really like this beat. Let's utilize this kind of funky beat from the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
I mean, rap's been doing it shamelessly.
I mean, if you want to hate on somebody, hate on will.i.am. Hate on him for everything he did Black Eyed Peas. Because he literally stole everything.
Oh, no, he did. But you turn around and be like, wow, he did a great job on Men in Black of stealing from Patricia Rushen. Like, it made you want to go hear the original. That's the only credit I can give Will Smith. It made you go, wow, what is this from? Because I want to hear the original of it. Whereas Bruno Mars is trying his best to go out and say, hey, I know this sounds just like an old Parliament song. It's not. But it's not. I actually created this.
It's almost like who else did that?
Greta Van Fleet.
Well, Greta Van Fleet does it, absolutely.
Yeah.
But there was someone else that came to mind recently that
They are not a Led Zeppelin cover band at all, though.
No.
Right.
Especially now that the lead singer came out yesterday and said he's been in a same-sex relationship for 8 years with a man.
Who cares?
I'm saying Robert Plant was into girls. So see there's that line in the road. Like,
No, but I know this DJ out in Wisconsin who actually did a Lizzo and a Eminem Without Me mix. And it made.
But I didn't pretend I was Lizzo or Eminem about it.
No, but
I didn't claim I didn't claim that was me rapping. That's the difference.
No, I know. I still play that today. By the way,
you should. It's good.
Yeah,
I just played it last weekend.
It's great. Yeah, but
my little
Brian, accept the compliments. Don't be so self-effacing about it. Oh, you should. That's good.
Yes, it was good. Yeah, still is.
Jay wants me to be more modest than that. How about you, Eric? What do you got this week?
Well, I thought we were talking about 8-tracks this week. Remember?
Well, you know what? We were talking about 8-tracks this week.
All right, so I'm going to throw this. I'm throwing that away.
No, is that a green one?
Track
no. Hold it up again. It was green because it got wiped out when he held it up. Hold it up again. No, Eric.
Album. No. Hold on. We're going to go album here.
No. I'm saying because whatever that was, Eric, was green. When you held it up, it was like completely invisible.
Disappeared.
Disappeared.
He took his ball and went home.
It weren't exactly the way I planned because that was not a real 8-track.
Okay.
Wow.
Probably an Atari.
I'm going on November 1976 with this.
Ooh.
James Taylor's Greatest Hits.
Okay. Oh, awesome.
Awesome album.
Every song.
There was not a bad song on this album,
Nope.
Granted, a lot of them are kind of mellow,
They're all mellow.
Yeah.
When you're
Shower the
banging,
People's a little upbeat.
It is. They're all mellow.
And Shower the People. That's a little upbeat. Mexico's a little bit upbeat.
How about Street Steamroller? Isn't that a little? No.
Yeah.
Or, I don't know. It's a little.
He says Stockbridge, from Stockbridge to Boston. That's all you need to know.
That's it.
That's it.
The name drops the 617.
That's what drew me to the album.
Of course it did.
I mean, the thing I respected most about was hooking up with Carly Simon.
Yeah.
Oh,
they had a house down in Edgartown, down in Martha's Vineyard, that looks right over the bay. Every time I'd ever been to Edgartown, somebody goes, "You know whose house that is, right?" I'm like, "No." Like, that's Carly Simon, James Taylor's old house. I'm like, "Really?"
Didn't they do Mockingbird together? A duet?
Yes, they did.
I thought that was fantastic too.
By the way, she suffers from the worst stage fright.
Yes.
True story. She absolutely is terrified to get on stage.
And I believe
once she's out there, she's amazing.
Yesterday. Turned 81 yesterday.
Who?
Oh,
wow.
Carly Simon. Hey,
Carly Simon's 81?
I think so.
Holy.
Pretty sure that's how old that she was. Look, a year younger than my mom.
Damn.
One of my favorite songs by Carly Simon. I think it was underrated.
Beautiful too.
It didn't go that far, and I thought it should have went farther than it did. Was Jessie from the 80s?
Oh, I'm sorry. She turned 80 yesterday.
80? Jesus, still.
Yeah,
she's 3 years younger than my mother. I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Wow.
Well, she was doing something. I'm sorry, you're talking about James Taylor, but just briefly.
Oh, that's
she
fine.
was singing with her sister in the 60s, and it was more kind of, what you call it. It wasn't top 40 stuff. It was more like
folky.
Not quite the folk thing. It was folk, but it wasn't hippie folk. Like it
wasn't Peter, Paul, and Mary kind of
stuff. Yeah, kind of wholesome.
Was it more singer-songwriter, like
stuff you might see
Joni?
On Ed Sullivan,
Oh yeah, like the Byrds and Joni Mitchell.
A very family-friendly, folky kind of thing that she was doing with her sister. One of her sisters. The other sister was an opera singer.
Really?
And, yes. And both of her sisters passed away kind of tragically last year. Like within,
I was going to say, they both died last year.
Within like a week of each other.
Yeah.
But they were all singers. And you think about that. I mean, I think about how old my mother is, and how old she was when I was born. Carly was almost 30 when she hit,
Yeah.
I mean, she wasn't like this 18-year-old or this 20-year-old, for the time that was a little older to come into your own musically.
Yeah, there were a lot of kids.
She did very well through. I guess. Well, I don't think she really had top 40 hits after 80 that I can think of.
Well, she got Jessie.
Right, Jessie. You're right. She did have Jessie in like 80 or 81.
But I don't think that went as far as it should have. I actually like that.
It's a good song.
Yeah,
that was. But after that, it was. But she had a good 10-year run, so. You figure somewhere between 30 and 40, she did very well. And she did stuff afterward.
Yeah.
Sorry, I hijacked your Carly, your James.
I don't know if she wrote stuff for other people, but she certainly
James Bond soundtracks and everything else. She was showing up everywhere for a while.
Spy Love Me, yeah. I don't know if she wrote it, but yeah, no, she check out her greatest hits sometime too, Eric. If you don't have that, at least her very first greatest hits.
I love.
Amazing.
Talking about Carly Simon,
My favorite Carly Simon song is actually "You Belong to Me." That is just such a good song. It's well
It's a good
produced.
song.
It's really good. I mean,
That's
she
the
has
way
other
it's-
ones that are nice, but
They said that's the way it's supposed to be.
a lot of her lyrics are a little more mature than some of the other music at the time, and it makes sense because she was more mature.
And some of it's kind of dark. Like,
It's
see a
not
cigarette
dark,
in
but
the hall and
it's more moody, I think. But
Yeah.
some of the keys that she writes in, it makes it feel darker than it really is.
may have been minor keys or something.
Yes,
That usually
very.
elicits that feeling.
kind of creepy.
I bet you think those keys
Some
are
of it
about
is,
you.
not all of it.
Oh, yeah.
James
You couldn't
Taylor
have
is-
picked a better person to hijack my James Taylor than Carly Simon. if you
Well,
know me.
related
I-
artist.
She is great
Yeah.
also. And now I'm kind of sad I didn't pick Carly Simon, but
Well, you kind of did.
It's a twofer. Yeah, we got them both.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We both got it recognized.
yeah.
but we all as DJs, as soon as you hear Carly Simon, you automatically you're so
Yes,
Vain,
okay.
right?
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, that probably was one of her signature songs, I think. You're so
Oh,
Vain.
yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
she had many.
You bet it was her biggest
Birthday
hit.
yesterday.
Yeah, but
80.
it was great.
Howie, what do you got?
Nobody does it better, too. That's another.
Well,
Oh, That's Why You Love Me is good. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Go ahead, Howie. What do you got?
okay, I'm up already. I went back with Jay, not on purpose, but this is what I had planned was the self-titled album New York Dolls from 73.
Awesome.
And the reason I picked it has three great songs, Personality Crisis, Trash, and Jet Boy.
Yep.
But the reason I picked it is one of my favorite artists of all time, Todd Rundgren, actually produced that album.
Nice.
Did he produce every great album from the 70s and early 80s? I swear to God,
Oh, yeah.
like every
For a minute,
great
yeah.
album.
Well, they all went to him. I mean,
Why is that?
Because he didn't
Because
want
he-
to work.
he's very good at what he does. The guy's a genius. I mean,
But what was his first product? Was that had to be one of his first production pieces then? When did Dolls
really,
come out?
yeah, because he did. Yeah, you're right.
Or-
Because after that, what did he do? Meatloaf, Bat Out of Hell. He
Yeah.
that. But then even his own albums, he's one of the few artists, along with Prince and the guy from Nine Inch Nails,
Trent Reznor.
Reznor.
Trent Reznor, that actually made an album and played all the instruments on it. And then
Stevie Wonder does it too.
yeah. And so that's my pick, New York Dolls. And the other thing was that the album art on it, they went way over the top on it because at the time, New York was very, I guess, anti-gay or whatever, which is laughable because half of the great artists were gay. So they went over the top with the makeup and the high heel boots and all that shit. And that was their album cover. They were actually credited with being the original glam rock band because of the way they dressed for that album. Because they got turned down by record company after record company. Mercury picked them up, and they brought in Todd Rundgren, and boom, they're on the map.
Speaking
Right
of
on.
album covers, what was the Prince album cover that really got a lot of publicity? Was that 1999?
I don't know why 1999 would have gotten a lot of publicity.
No, there might have been one before it then or after.
Mm.
Brian, you should know.
I'm
this.
trying to.
There was a
No,
Prince
I'm trying to
album
think of
that had a
album
bunch
cover
of.
that could- Huh?
But was like Love Sexy when he was just kind of like posed
It
or
was
whatever.
Naked and Love Sexy, but I
The
didn't.
black and white one that had head on it, controversy.
Well, no, that's Don't Stop.
Was the album
on
I'm not
I'll
sure album, but there's For You, Dirty Mind is the album you're thinking of. The Black.
Oh, Dirty Mind. That had Controversy and Head on it, right?
Controversy was on Controversy.
Head was on Dirty Mind.
Might have been. Sister was on.
It's pretty spicy.
Was on Dirty Mind. Party Up was on Dirty Mind. Dirty Mind was on Dirty Mind. I think Why You Want to Treat Me So Bad was on Dirty Mind. Controversy had like Any Christian on it, and I think Sister was on it, which is kind of a funny little song about incest. But anyway.
Ooh.
By the way, Howie, Todd Rundgren is credited with producing 81 albums.
I believe it. That's an incredible feat.
And I'll just give you two that you probably did not know that you might be like, wow, that's kind of impressive. Bad Fingers, straight up.
I know that. Yep.
Grand Funk Railroads were an American band.
Yep.
I mean, seriously?
Yeah, he did everybody. He was
all the Rick Derringer stuff.
Yep. The man was a savant, so to speak. I mean, he did choral with the bands. The New York Dolls wanted it more edgy, and he came in and said, "No, you want a hit." So he made it a little bit more pop and mainstream with Personality Crisis, and that became a hit. And then they said, "Okay, we'll do whatever you want because you are a master."
You know what you're doing. Yeah.
Maybe you've heard of this album, Howie. Maybe you probably had it in your collection. You ever heard of an album called Wave?
Mm-hmm.
Todd Rundgren produced it. Artist, Patti Smith.
Patti Smith. Yeah.
I mean,
she's the godmother of punk.
Yes. I have my old solo album right here. I just pulled out. Oh my God, Todd Rundgren produced me. I don't even remember.
Yeah. Well, Patti Smith was a poet. She was a beat poet. And then along came, people like Todd Rundgren and said, "Hey, this would make great music." And, it's all history from there.
And if you want us to go down a rabbit hole, look up the involvement she had with Bruce Springsteen.
Right.
And the involvement she had with WBCN on a live concert from the Harvard Square Theater, where she more or less started her career from the same theater where John Landau said, "I've seen the future of rock and roll and its name is Bruce Springsteen."
Mm-hmm.
He subsequently quit working for Rolling Stone and became Bruce Springsteen's manager and has been since the mid-70s.
And buddy, and like really good friend.
Very good friend, like brother.
Yeah.
And but they got Patti Smith on a live feed because of Bruce from the same theater with BCN. And it was like, that's where I think it's where one of the first times she did Because the Night.
Yes.
Great song.
Bruce's track. Yep.
Yeah, written by Bruce Springsteen. So
great song. Well, her version is amazing.
Produced by Todd Rundgren. Yeah.
Yeah. Her version is amazing. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Because the Night was written by Bruce.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because the Night.
That was
I think so.
by Bruce. I didn't know that.
Fire was. Maybe
He
I'm thinking
eventually
of Fire.
released it under his own.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Did he write
Bruce
Because?
had
I know he
something to
wrote
do with
Fire.
Bruce had something to do with Because of the Night.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't remember what, but he had something to do with it. So
Anyway.
I was reminded by John that we need to mention our sponsor, and that would be DJ Event Planner, www.djeventplanner.com. Have a look at it. Why do you say www? I sound like I'm 90. DJEventPlanner.com. Have a look at the description of this video on YouTube for a link to them and the rest of our kind sponsors.
Yeah. P.S. Because the Night was written by Bruce Springsteen.
So, Jay really breaks my balls when I dive deep. Like, nobody else knows this. But you know why I dive deep? You know why?
In order to educate.
You know why I dive deep?
Because
when I don't, crap like this happens.
Rebel Yell.
This is Vital Idol. We just saw an import of this with John.
This is Vital Idol.
This is why I dive deep. I got to do stuff I know you're not going to do. Okay?
My
I
idol's
was
more
going to
vital.
go a slightly different direction with this. Simply because I got some different ideas on it. So Vital Idol, this is the US version of the import that he just held up. Okay, yes, it is a remix album. There are some usable tracks on here, and as a DJ, I owned this. It was really good to have a copy of this. The White Wedding parts 1 and 2 on here.
Mhm.
They're for the most part usable. There's some parts of it I don't like. There's a down tempo remix of Moni Moni that isn't bad.
Is that
You know
the
pardon?
the Moni Moni on that one? Is that the downtown mix?
Yes.
That's really upbeat for dancing.
Yeah, it's
I like that one. I like that version. Yeah.
okay. So,
Yeah, it's
but,
called
you
the
know,
downtown mix.
Yeah.
I think this came out in like, what is it?
85.
87 maybe.
Yeah.
But the truth of it is, as a DJ today, don't use this. Right.
Oh, there
This is the first EP right here. Okay. This is Don't Stop, which I got confused and said Don't Stop earlier with Dirty Mind. It's a 4-song EP. It was recorded in 1881. It's got Moni Moni on it, which is what you need. Okay. It's got Baby Talk, Who Cares, Untouchables, Who Care, and Dancing with Myself. Okay. So this is good.
50% of it is what you need. Yeah.
This is good. All right. Next. Okay. And this is just for DJs here. I'm just talking to DJs right now. Okay. The self-titled Billy Idol album came out in early 1983. Okay. Here are the tracks on it. Come On, Come On. That's a cool song. White Wedding Part 1. That's fine. Just play that. Hot in the City. A great song.
What a good song.
I like
It's a really cool song. I like the song. I think you should have a listen if you don't know it. What else is on here? Love Calling is good. And Dancing with Myself is also on this, which is a really cool song to have. Okay, but
Was Nick Gilder's track called Hot in the City?
Pardon?
Hot Child in the City.
Hot
That's
Child.
Nick Gilder, Hot Child in the City.
That's it. Hot Child.
Hot in the City
Yeah.
is different.
Stop.
Right. No, I know it's different. I suddenly, when you said that Nick Gilder came to mind, I'm like, okay, what's his one track?
Wait a minute.
Like,
You don't
isn't
know
it
Hot in the City by Billy Idol?
No, I do know it. It's a totally different song.
It is totally different.
But when you said Hot in the City, I didn't go Billy Idol. I went Nick Gilder.
That's Hot
Yeah.
I'm
Child.
like, what's that
Hot
track?
Child.
The Hot Child in the City.
It's
Yeah.
okay. This is the album I really wanted to talk about, though. This is
Rebel Yell? That's
Yeah.
a good album.
Yeah, this hit it. And this came out
Eyes
in
Without a
late
Face.
83, of all
Yep.
things.
Flash
This
of
came out like
Fantasy.
less than a year after the self-titled album came out. So all
Yeah,
this
he
stuff
was
have
cranking them out
at once. This is fantastic.
Yeah, it's a good album.
So as a DJ, you can totally play Rebel Yell off of here.
Yep.
Okay, it's a cool rock song that people might actually dance to. I've actually played it at the club a few times. I like the whole album. Daytime Drama is not a bad song. It's not neither is DJ. Eyes Without a Face is an amazing song.
Great song.
Just an amazing track. And Blue Highway is a great rocker. If you don't know Blue Highway, listen to it. It's a fantastic rocker. It's on this album. Flesh for Fantasy is kind of a cool, moody, dark track.
That's a cool track. I think it's underappreciated.
What, Flesh for Fantasy?
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah,
a good
it's
song
a really cool track.
because it was a departure. Like when you think of him and Rebel Yell and White Wedding, all of a sudden you get that and you're like, "Whoa, what's this? This is
It's almost
cool."
gothy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Catch My Fall. That's a nice song. It actually
track.
was a single. Crank Call's a good song. It's kind of a rocker. Don't Stand in the Shadows, fun song. The only song I really don't care for on this album is the last track on. They're calling it Side 4, so that's how they did it. Side 3 and 4, where this one here is Side 1 and 2. So
made you want to buy it probably and go, "Wait a second, what's this 3 and 4? I got to go get
Right.
1 and 2 now."
right. So
No internet.
whole album, but let's
They were
kind of
easily
do
influenced.
albums is
Yep.
what they essentially did in 1983. But I don't like the song "The Dead Next Door." I just don't enjoy that song. It's I don't know. I'm sure if you are very goth, you like it, but it's just too dark for me. But yeah, Billy Idol. There's stuff you can play, and there's other stuff you can play from Billy Idol that I'm not showing you here. That turned up on soundtracks.
Rock Your Cradle of Love.
Cradle of Love
Cradle of Love
is
is
one
huge.
that comes to mind.
Yeah, Ford Fairlane soundtrack. Same one as Queensryche, Last Night in Paris.
Now,
The
there's
only
an
way to get
album-
either song was on the soundtrack.
There's an album that I'm not showing you that I have back there. It's called Whiplash Smile. That's kind of cool too.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
And it's the big hit off of that, if you can call it that, was called To Be a Lover. But my favorite song off that album is called Don't Need a Gun. That is a great song. If you don't know it, please listen to Don't Need a Gun by Billy Idol off of Whiplash Smile.
Don't need or eat?
Need. Don't
Need. Okay. It sounded almost like Don't Eat a Gun, which is a great title too.
Don't eat. That's good advice.
Great title.
Yeah, don't eat a gun.
Don't use your tongue to stop a fan, and don't eat a gun.
Yeah. And just remember, no matter what happens, kids, you can always tune a piano, but you can't tune a fish. Thank you, Ario Speedwagon, again.
I can't recall, but where did Eyes Without a Face come in with that?
That was on Rebel Yell, and it's it's a movie. It's a French movie from the 60s, I think, that I've never watched. I know it exists, but the song was written about the film. It's kind of like a horror drama thing, Eyes Without a Face.
Amazing how creative he was between cheating on his wife and getting busted because the baby monitor was on, getting wasted, crushing his skull on a curb on his motorcycle, getting drunk, doing drugs, and yet still writing beautiful music. It's just so much going on in his day.
Well, here's the weird
No, Billy Idol got in a bad motorcycle accident in Hollywood too.
He did.
Yeah. I think he was in a coma.
There was this.
It was just a joke.
Oh yeah. Don't tell Gary that.
Don't tell Gary.
There's a story that I heard recently. It's one of those, crazy rock star, moments. And this was in the 90s. I'm paraphrasing it because I don't remember the whole story. Something about he went to Bangkok. He rented a hotel suite. He stayed for a month. He refused to leave and had like this big party and destroyed the place. And they finally had to have the police remove him. Wow. That was the 90s. But today, Billy Idol is famous for a new reason to a new generation for his pictures he posts on Instagram of him and his grandchildren. Like just hilarious.
Really?
Yeah.
No kidding.
So he's like
going to say the wedding singer.
It's a whole new leaf.
No, that was a while back. No, he's this proud grandpa now. He's like an Instagram star because of the cute pictures he posts of him and his grandchildren.
Right. But I think Matt brings up an interesting point. I think that Wedding Singer was probably a decent kickstart to
for millennials. For millennials, probably. I mean, I'm talking about Gen Z.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, even a show like The Wedding Singer is pretty old school for my kids. But
when did that come out? Was that 20 years ago? Was that early 2000s?
Probably.
I think it was 90s, dude.
Yeah.
Jesus,
like
was it really?
7, 8.
This is that I often say that 2000 to 2010 gap that I ignore. I go, that's like 15 years ago.
It's like a 25-year-old film.
Yeah.
From Billy Idol's Instagram right here.
Yeah. So
there you go.
So he's very famous for posting cute pictures of his grandchildren.
But
you think about the talk about coming full circle on something or just kind of doing the 180 or whatever. Mm-hmm. That's cool. And he's touring and he's
sober now and he's and he's still with the mainstay of his musical career. And there's no way he wouldn't admit to this. As good as his lyrics may have been, his music was phenomenal based on one guy, Steve Stevens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he's still to the point now where he tours as Billy Idol with Steve Stevens.
Well,
if you go to see him, Steve Stevens is now getting cred on, the title because if he toured with me, it would not be the same show as touring with Steve Stevens because Steve Stevens is one of the most underrated guitarists.
They're the same height. They're both like 5 feet tall too.
And Steve Stevens still thinks he looks like that, but sadly, due to age and everything else,
kind of looks like Peter Criss looks now. Yeah,
hard rock life. Hard rock life.
Yeah,
really looks pretty good considering. One thing,
no, he does. He looks really good. Like I said, Michelle saw him last year, and I was like, "How was it?" She's like, "It's not my favorite show, but he was running around like a young guy." Mm-hmm. I mean, so at least he's still got the performance chops. I haven't heard any new material, but
there's one thing that no one has mentioned is that he's also from the punk scene from a band called Gen X from the 70s.
That's right.
So I think Dancing with Myself was a Gen X song.
And I believe Billy Duffy was in Gen X from the Cult.
He punched it up like as a dance track for his EP that he did.
Yeah.
So,
but I'm pretty sure I'll double check. I think Billy Duffy of the Cult was also in Gen X.
Could have been. I recently saw a picture of Billy Idol and a very young Billy Idol and a very young Susie Sue together in 1976. So Gen X goes way back.
Oh, yeah.
So, and I mean,
They were that
he didn't even have
region's
spiky hair
punk
yet. It was bleached blonde, but it wasn't spiky.
Susie Sue is a name I haven't heard in a while.
Yeah.
But she was very good.
Seen her live. In the
Yeah,
90s.
I did too.
Well, you probably saw her in a place that held 50 people.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it held a little more. Or saw at Max's.
Okay. But anyway, that's what I got. We've got about 10, 15 minutes left. Is there anything anybody wants to talk about? Nobody wants to talk about anything at all.
That's my
I'm out of water, so if you want to wrap, I'm good with that.
Well, I'd tell
And
you
here's the problem. Try looking this up. Try plugging in who is in Generation X.
Like a damn.
No,
You don't
gotta-
add the
Gen-
band.
I
Yeah.
believe the band was Gen X, wasn't it?
You have to make, you
Or
have
was
to
it
add-
Generation X?
It
Generation
was
X,
listed as Generation X.
-X.
Yeah. I was incorrect, so I want to be upfront and clear about that. He was not. Billy
We all
Duffy
make
of the
mistakes.
Cult was not. But Billy Duffy of the Cult was in a band before with a guy named Steve Morrissey on vocals, who later went on to drop his first name and just go by Morrissey.
Morrissey.
I
Because
love
they're
how
from
Jay
the same
embellishes this stuff.
town. No, that
You
that
may
was
have
true.
heard of him. Jesus. You may have heard of this guy.
Famously. Yeah.
Famously.
Famously. And
I don't
by
know.
the way,
You ever heard of this guy?
and for what it's worth,
Gandhi. You ever heard of
Billy
Gandhi?
Idol, Billy Duffy, and Morrissey
Yeah.
are all from Boston.
No word of a lie.
Just saying.
Of course they are. Yes.
I'm just saying.
And Jesus.
From Boston.
Yeah, Jesus
I
I
of
think he
Boston.
lived in Mattapan. John, Mattapan or Jamaica
Could've
Plain?
been.
Jesus of Mattapan that
He
sounded
had a lot
Jamaica
of
Plain.
forgiveness in his soul.
got the right amount of syllables.
I heard he just left Chicago though.
Yeah.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
making a little
ZZ
ZZ
Top.
Top reference there.
I'm in
Nice.
Chicago. He just left.
Yeah, he just left. There you go.
Yeah, he just
He's
left.
never been to Milwaukee.
You
apparently.
just missed him.
He would, but he doesn't want to take the wheel. I went all country on that one.
Oh, Carrie Underwood.
Although I
Yeah.
think Satan might be here because would you like to hear the forecast to Milwaukee right now?
Sure.
I heard he was just all right.
This is what it says.
Thank
Literally.
you, Doobie. Thank you, Doobies.
I got it.
And in my taskbar right now, the weather in Milwaukee forecast is 63 degrees and smoke.
And
Wow.
Smoke.
That's something
Smoke.
we have never heard.
It's just 63
They'll
and
use
smoke.
foggy, rain, snow, but I've never heard smoke before, ever.
Yeah.
Oh, I just got a hit on my phone. Bandcamp. It says that Cheech and Chong are playing in Milwaukee.
I think the
Oh.
Canadian Wildfires are playing in Milwaukee right now.
Well,
Yeah.
Buddy will not let them hire him to do any events. I'm just want to be clear about this. If there's
Ooh,
smoke
Cheech and
involved,
Chong? Oh, okay. I thought
any
you meant
smoke
Canada.
involved, Buddy's out. So
Just the country of Canada will not be hired by.
letting Canada and Milwaukee know Buddy is not available.
It's okay. It's okay. But yeah, 63 in smoke. It was 68 in smoke earlier. It was something in smoke the day before yesterday.
Well, my neck of the woods, we're hitting 90 on Friday for the first time in the last 2 months.
Well,
I mean, it's consistently been in the 70s and 80s, and it's going to be July 1st.
Well, it was hot here, Jay, until the smoke blocked out the sun.
Yeah, that will do that.
It just, if you have no sun, you have no
It's
heat.
forest
Yeah.
fire eclipse going on.
And I know this is the music show, and I apologize, but I will say that it is so bad out there that there was a motorcycle accident
Oh, no.
up in Menominee Falls, and Flight for Life could not fly.
You never.
The visibility is that bad.
Wow.
You never.
Thick.
No.
It's that thick.
That's bad.
I can
Yeah.
taste it. I brushed my teeth right before the show. I'm tasting it again. I've got the
That's Marlboro Light,
fan on.
Brian. That's
No, no,
Marlboro Light.
It's not Marlboro Light.
Not Marlboro Light.
Not maple tree.
No.
Yeah, did it have a maple syrup tinge to it? Because
You know what?
I'll talk to Aaron.
I could probably take a moving head outside, and you could like see it.
Have enough atmosphere. That'd be
Yeah.
Great.
You'd have enough atmosphere to see it.
Yeah.
note
Because
to
it's that
self.
bad.
Time to shoot videos in my backyard. I've got a lot of atmosphere.
It's gonna look.
Everyone else is bugging out. Brian's not. He's doing the new color key and ADJ movie.
Yeah. Run videos on all your lighting.
Yeah.
Well, you
I
get
know
the
this
free
looks like
effects.
snow, but it's actually the summer. I'm in a short sleeve shirt.
He's taking lemons and making lemonade.
Oh,
I'm
he
not doing
is.
any of that. I'm staying inside, but I could if I
But
wanted.
the old you would have. The old,
If I had a
3 or
moving
4
head
years
that-
ago, the old too many
Oh, no,
lights,
not the old
knowing what to do with,
the me
Ryan would have been out there.
the me who had a new moving head to show everyone would do that. But
Yeah.
I don't have a new moving
100%.
head to show you, so I'm
Right.
not going to bother.
You're even giving me an idea now because we're starting to get it from different areas around. And I'm like, damn it, I never thought about the atmosphere in the
If
air.
you got a head, go up on a mountain and do it. You know,
Yeah.
Just get out of the city lights and you can do it.
Battery powered. It won't start a fire like the one right behind me. Hey, guys, where's the helicopter?
Well, that can fly. Yeah.
Can't fly. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Oh,
Gotta send up
okay, I
the
guess
bat
we're
signal
running
with
down
that,
the
like-
hill. Yeah.
Unlike this fire
Wouldn't-
coming
wouldn't
from
that- wouldn't that
Canada,
just be-
these are cold sparks.
Wouldn't that just be the thing that just to really piss off the general public? Have a bat like Gobo in a mover, go out near a wildfire where there's a lot of atmosphere and go like, wow, I guess he won't come tonight, and be like lighting by Chavez or something, or, whatever. Some twisted way of saying, look,
I mean, the problem with it right now is it's so thick, no one can see the signal from more than a mile away.
Right.
I mean, because it's. I remember one year, and this was just fog off of the lake, but we have a usually 3rd of July fireworks display at Summerfest or on the Summerfest grounds. And, well, you've been to my house. I live on the South Bay. So if you go out on, the beach, you can look into, the inner bay where Summerfest is and watch the fireworks. You can see them from the beach behind my house. But the fog was so thick, we couldn't even see the fireworks. We were just standing there listening to bang because
Yeah.
it was that bad.
yeah, no,
But it's like that now with the fog. So Howie says we're timed, so we can kill this thing and go do something else if you want to.
I got a friend in Tremont, Illinois, who's seeing the effects and smelling the smoke from this too. But it's getting bad,
Yeah, it's. I mean, tasting it is I can feel it on my teeth. It's really like And I just brushed. It's really bad. So
I put a fork in it. I need a cigarette.
Speaking of, thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you.